It goes. There was once a monastery that had a beautiful giant golden Buddha statue. And when the monks got word that an invading army was coming to the village where the monastery was located, they were afraid that the invaders would loot the temple and take the statue. Then one of the monks got an idea. He got all the monks to gather plaster and clay, and they covered the entire statue of the Buddha. So when the invading army saw the statue, they would think it was made of stone and not worth anything. They covered the statue completely, and it worked. The invaders didn't see the statue as having any value, and so they just left it at the monastery. But the occupation of the village had lasted many years, and people eventually forgot about the golden Buddha. Until one day, many years later, a young monk was sitting, meditating under the statue, and a piece of the plaster fell off, and he could see something shimmering underneath. And when he realized what it was, he ran to get the other monks, and they proceeded to hammer and chisel away at the stone facade, revealing the golden Buddha underneath. I had an interesting conversation with someone a few weeks back. It was honestly a bit awkward and uncomfortable because it held the mirror up to me in a way that I needed. I was asked how I was doing, and I gave an honest, in the moment response of hanging in there. I was tired and a bit frustrated with how things had been going and with how little traction I was seeing in my business and with life in general. And she said, in all the time she's known me, that's always seems to be my answer. And I realized she was right, and I hated that. I always was going through something, dealing with something, and I just needed a break. Survival mode is exhausting, and honestly, I'm sick of it. Because I know I deserve better. And I know that I'm capable of better. I told her that I was looking for clients as a transformational life coach and motivational speaker. And she was surprised that that was the work I was pursuing now. And that left me taken aback. But again, I knew exactly what she meant by that, and I honestly hated that too. You see, I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm conflict avoidant, I go with the flow sort of person. I don't believe in the grind. I do believe in intention and discipline, even if I'm not always good at self-discipline. I care about people, and I want to help them. I can be a good listener and a pastoral, calming presence. I always loved one-on-one tutoring because I loved helping people learn that they are capable of doing and understanding more than they realized. It was so deeply gratifying helping students realize their goals and watching them discover their own confidence and really realize just how clever and intelligent and capable they are. I loved learning, and I love teaching, and I love life. I love sharing in the passion and the beauty and the cleverness of the great minds of the past, even when I'm teaching subjects like math and computer science. I love preaching, and I love leading Bible studies and exploring the scriptures and non-canonical texts and sacred texts of all the great faith traditions of the world. I love exploring and sharing how different people from all cultures and all walks of life, relate to the divine, to spirit, to the universe. And there is such beauty in that diversity. And because it doesn't just help me better understand and therefore better love my neighbor, my brother, my sister, my sibling in humanity, it helps me deepen and refine my own relationship to that ineffable spirit that I call God. And I'm not someone who has my life together. I am someone who recognizes that I need all the help I can get. And so I study how to better function, how to better plan, how to better reach for and achieve my goals. And I have tried many things, and many things haven't worked, and many things have. And I have learned from those experiences, and I continue to study and to learn. But here's the thing. When you resolve to change, that habit of shrinking will suffocate you. And I have a habit of shrinking because I've been afraid to put myself out there, because I've been afraid of what others will think of me. And operating from that mode is suffocating. And I have to remind myself to take a breath, to drop into my heart, to reconnect with spirit, to reconnect with God, to remember that nothing can separate me from that love, from that power, from that potential, to remember that I can still draw that breath. And I can surrender to this moment, because in this moment, in this now, I am still alive. In this moment, I can make another choice. I can resolve to remember who I am meant to be and why I am here. I can resolve to remember that there are far more options available to me than what I can see when I'm operating in crisis mode. I can organize Bible studies and online courses. I can reach out to ministers and communities and offer my services as a preacher and speaker. I can connect to colleagues, former colleagues in colleges and universities and centers and community centers, and offer my services as a tutor, as a life coach, and as a motivational speaker. I have allowed myself to become so overwhelmed by the state of the world and the aftermath of personal trauma that I had forgotten why I'm here. And that's an easy thing to forget when you're operating in survival mode. But I had not just forgotten why I was here. I had forgotten all those talents that I had buried, all the opportunities and possibilities that I could not see past the overwhelm and the weight of the burdens I was carrying. And I hope that you can see what I just did there. Or more to the point, I hope you can feel the difference between how I started this story and where I am now. One of the things I teach as a coach is metacognition. And this is simply how we take notice of what we're noticing and reflect on our patterns of thought so we can transform those patterns and face the challenges with greater clarity and wisdom. And I noticed that when I was so afraid of the rejection and abandonment, that I was isolating myself, that I was holding myself back. I was afraid of what other people might think of me, what they might think of my decision to become a life coach, or what they might think when I start talking about success principles and new thought and metaphysics. I was afraid of being judged. And on some level, that is understandable. I'm trying to market myself as this. I need to be seen as capable of doing the job. And I've not exactly radiated confidence in my attempts at networking. So I should care about what others think about me. Except, no, that's not right either. I can't have a hashtag no filter life. I need to be intentional about how and what I communicate. And at the same time, I need to be authentic. I can't be seeking validation or approval. I can't be attached to the idea of any particular person becoming my client or any particular person of seeing me as capable. And yet, I still need clients for this to work. But I've noticed something. When I'm struggling with something, I will always find the information I need to move forward. Like magic, seek and ye shall find. I always find the answer to my situation when I take the time to ask and to look for that answer. The Let Them theory by Mel Robbins was exactly the information I needed to move past this. It helped me realize that I had to clear some things from my life. I'm not going to go into that book in great detail. I just want to highly recommend reading that book. The work I feel called to do is to help people realize a greater potential and purpose in fulfillment in their lives through my ministry, through education, and through coaching. And if I am to say yes to that work, I need to be willing to say no to things that do not serve that vision. I need to create the space to say yes so that the people who are in need of my services, the people who are looking for me, can find me. There are other dimensions to my calling, which I'm not going to discuss here and now, but I needed that space. I needed to step back from the things that weren't moving me in the direction of where I need to be. So what that book, The Let Them Theory, did for me was to help me recognize that I don't need to convince anyone that I'm on the right path. People will think what they will of me, and let them. What others think of me is not something what others think of me is not something in my control. And I will make myself crazy if I try. If I am reacting to what they're thinking, I've just given away my power. And like an angry teenager, I'm using my mental energy to argue that I know what I'm doing, Mom or Dad. And I'm thinking to myself, well, actually, at that moment, I'm not thinking, I'm just reacting. Fear and doubt have taken the show, and I feel the urge to fight, to argue, to convince, because in that moment, I'm not feeling that self-worth. I'm not standing in my own power. And I don't have the luxury to do that anymore. I need to recognize in that moment that if I am feeling that way, I'm not only not putting my best self into that position, I'm also probably dealing with someone I'm not meant to serve. And I need to find those people I am here to serve. And that requires me putting myself out there again and again and again. And it requires me chipping away at that facade, at those protective layers of plaster and clay and all of those masks that I wear out of habit. And all of those circumstances, situations, and conditions that I know are impermanent and I know only hold me back because I allow them to do so. Take another breath. If any of that resonates with you, or if any of that sounds familiar, know that you're not alone in this. Let's talk. Whatever you're going through right now, you have everything you need to face it. Whatever you're going through, know that I am holding you in love and I am rooting for you. I believe in you. So if you wish to have a conversation with me, if you wish to schedule a strategy session to see if coaching is right for you, you can use the Calendly link in the description. I also have more informal, just coaching info sessions or kind of a coaching open house that I do. It's much more informal, much less structured. If you want to just have a conversation, I schedule some time for that on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings. You can let me know what time works best for you. I have a Google form for people who may be interested in that, and we can sort that out. You can also reach me by email at steve@itinerant.com. I'll put all this in the description. But I want you to understand this. The world needs your light. The world needs you to shine. And if you would like a structure of support, I'm here. just reach out to me. Peace and blessings. Namaste.